first of all, you give a good slam of your clay on the wheel. And I always think about that as sort of my sense of willingness to enter into whatever process is happening in my life at the moment. And it's really important to get the things centered completely at first. And you can see that wobble, wonky wobble, and life is just full of all kinds of wobbles. But they become much easier to deal with if you find yourself solidly in the center with a sense of openness to whatever may be happening around you. You notice that my hands are no longer wobbling around as they had been at the beginning, but it's much calmer, and I just love that place of calmness because it really helps to calm my soul and whatever I'm dealing with at the moment. And then to slow down a little bit. Oh, the top is still a little bit wobbly, so I need to smooth that off, make sure everything is centered. Now, those rings are not centered, so you might see a little bit of wobble in them. But I can feel it. Whoops, there it went out of balance. So there's so quickly things can throw us off balance, and I need to get myself anchored here so it doesn't wobble me. Still a little bit of a wobble. Keep throwing it off. But I really have learned to love this process, even though centering is the hardest part. It is the part that helps me know how I am. The clay tells me how I am. Am I able to really get this piece centered? So I've really learned to enjoy this process of working hard to center a piece. There, I believe I got it. Because it helps to know how I am. Am I fully centered and calm? And if not, the clay can calm me. And then that whole process of opening to press down into the clay. I love that feel. Going deeper with clay or with life. So I like to think about clay as being a dance of life because it's a whole invitation to integrate all of those tough things and good things, easy things, fun things, all integrated with the difficulties of life so that we're able to say yes to the whole process. And so opening, making, I see I got some wobble in here, but just for this process here. Opening, stretching out the bottom, and then pressing down on the bottom to give it stability. Everything has to be well connected to the other, just like we as humans being connected to each other. So I slow the wheel down, make sure that everything is still lined up. Clean off a little bit of the extra. And then I'm ready for the fun part of building. So I really got into clay when I first made an application for a clay class and got captivated with the feel of the clay and what you can do with clay. And one time I looked on the table and I noticed that I had a dancing flame oil lamp from June Keener Wink on my table that I often used for meditation and for times of discernment and noticing that flame leaping around from side to side. And also sometimes it would divide into 2 flames or even 3, and they would dance together, 2 or 3 flames dancing. And I was looking at that and I thought, I think I could make one like that. So I tried it. And it was a very small one, and the room was very big because I was such an amateur at that time. But I made a couple, and then somebody asked if they could buy one. And so in that selling of the lamps, a light went on, and I thought, oh, I could make more of these. And whenever I made more, I just put pictures on Facebook, and I got all these orders of people that wanted, some would come and buy 8 at a time to give to their friends or whatever. And that was an open door for me to think about getting into this a little bit more deeply. And that kept happening. People kept coming and asking for them. I couldn't keep up with the orders. And so finally I decreased my time as a chaplain and put more time into making these lamps. Then I applied to an art show and got accepted in the row of emerging artists. And so now I'm preparing an inventory for that art show. And I'm going to call them, I think, the Dance of Life oil lamps, because the dancing of the flame is indicative of how our lives are, with difficult things and easy things all blended together. And so we can use it as a reflective point to not resist the things that happen in our lives, but to welcome them and to see what is the invitation out of the tough stuff. So even as I'm coloring in this lamp to make the neck and the rim, we can also say yes to those constricting experiences and watching what is the invitation out of that situation for some kind of new life or new possibilities or things we would have never thought about. And I also notice that when I'm putting pressure on the inside and pressure on the outside, like I need that opposing force, just like we need that opposing force of new ideas and resistance to ideas to bring up a new arising or a new life or new ideas, just like the shape, the walls that you saw me bringing up. Now I need to cut off some of this rim because it was not even, and this often happens. So I'll just take a little bit off of that. And I keep coloring in to make that rim, to make the shape. And I'll show you one that's actually burning after a bit. Again, it seems a little uneven there, but I'll be cutting off more as we go. Okay, so now that is just about the right openness, the wideness, so that there's plenty of room for air to go in and out past the fiberglass round wick that will be positioned low in the neck of this lamp. And I'm drawing up the neck a little bit higher now. And then I use a piece of chamois that needs to get limbered up to smooth off the rim. And then bring the lip, stretch out the rim of the lamp. And I just really like this process of listening to the clay, because I have to listen to the clay just as much as the clay listens to me. So there's this interaction, a respectful interaction between me and the clay as we listen to each other's, the feel of the clay, like I can feel if there's an air bubble, and then I need to stop and work out that air bubble. And the clay also listens to me as I put pressure on various points to bring up growth or to bring up a wall or to collar in a neck or whatever it is that I'm working on at the moment. So let me limber this chamois up a bit and smooth out the rim of this lamp. So my passion in making these is an invitational one for people to have a place of quiet reflection as they watch the constant mesmerizing motion of the flame on this wide rim, and use it as a place of well-being, a place of peace, a place of reflection and acceptance of what is, so that they can see invitation out of it for their own selves. So let me clean off this bat a bit. And I need to smooth out the end of this, the base of this lamp, so that it has a good even bottom to it. And cleaning off the slip, all that wetness has to come off. Okay, so there you see a lamp. You're invited to click on the link and buy one yourself.